Dramatic finishes have become common occurrence for Maryland lacrosse. After escaping Syracuse with its second overtime win of the season, the number 4 Terrapins are met with another late winter test at home. Number 11 Princeton is young, but it's fearless. It's a battle between two historic programs, and all the action is here on Big Ten Plus. We welcome you inside SECU Stadium. I'm Ben Strober. He's Tyler Lochte. And Tyler, these are two programs that have dominated the sport for decades. Let's take a look.
Yeah, it really is incredible what these two teams have accomplished in the NCAA era. So this is all happening since 1971, Ben. For Maryland, 28 Final Fours, just the 4 titles. For Princeton, very efficient. If they get to Memorial Day weekend, you can never count them out.
Certainly true. Hat tricks were huge for Maryland in its win over Syracuse. Braden Erksa netted that +1.
Yeah, Braden Erksa has really burst onto the scene over these last 2 seasons for Maryland, giving them, I would say, their most consistent option on the front end.
The Tigers are no stranger to a 3-goal score either. John Dunphy notched his first career hat trick on Tuesday.
You know, everybody talks about Burns, Kabiri, Mackesy. John Dunphy says, hey, don't forget about me. Maryland is going to have to worry about him today. The Tigers, they want a more balanced attack here if they want to take the upset in College Park.
It's pretty crazy to think about, Tyler. John Dunphy, a sophomore, is now looked at as one of the leaders of this Princeton team. So young, they come in here with the #1 recruiting class in the entire country, and they're really dominated by their freshman play.
Yeah, their entire starting attacking line, including Palumbo, a sophomore, they're all sophomores or younger. Remember the 2 freshmen out of Georgetown Prep. We're going to be talking a lot about them. Georgetown Prep has come out to support them here today, so close to home.
So Luke Weirman, Maryland's all-time leading face-off guy, will go against Princeton's Andrew McKee, and 64% on the season for the Tigers.
This should be a fun one. 2 undefeated teams. Somebody's going to have their first loss today.
Ball still loose, and the Tigers will collect possession #1. This is short stick D midi. Paul Wethington, he'll take it and get a touch into the box before giving it up.
And that's a good start for Princeton. Everybody always talks about Weirman and how tough it is to beat this Maryland team when he gets going. First chance of this game goes to the visitors. Let's see if they can take advantage.
This is a new look Princeton offense, very, very young. Losing 4 of their top midfielders to graduation.
But you still got a really good one in Mackesy, the main senior presence in this offensive attacking side.
Ball at X to the freshman Burns. It'll come to Kabiri, shaded off by Zappatello. Burns still with it, shot clock down to 10. Tight defense, Mackesy trying to weave through. McNaney saves it. Ball still loose. And we'll have a call falling into the goal mouth. Maryland benefited from one of those calls in Syracuse, Tyler.
Yeah, they did. It was a call that everybody seemed to look at across the lacrosse world. But at the end of the day, Princeton, they had a chance to get a stop on the ride. I don't know what happened after that break. That's why you got to play to the whistle. How about 2 short stick D middies picking up points in the game winner for Maryland?
It was George Stamos who had the game-winning goal in overtime to send Maryland to a 3-0 start. And here's the first possession offensively for the Terps.
And by the way, the other end, Tommy Barnes, there was a loose ball off the deflection from McNaney. He had a chance to put it right back in, couldn't get the touch.
On the doorstep, Erksa. A slam dunk, and Maryland is on the board first.
That's why we highlighted him in our open. Braden Erksa is one of those guys you need to worry about every single time he steps on the field. He is really, really dangerous. Hat trick last time out. He's looking for another one here.
You can see it was Eric Molliver who delivered a beautiful pass from X. What a good help it's been to have him back.
Yeah, Nurksa just great positioning there. You can't leave a guy like that open just in front of the goal.
This time, Weirman had it for a moment. Now he'll get it, and he'll exit cleanly.
It's a great ground ball there from Luke Weirman. You know, being a face-off guy, it's so much more than just initially flicking it to where you want it to go. You also got to pick up the scrap sometimes if it gets out to the outside, and Weirman did a good job of moving that ball along and giving himself some space so he could make the scoop.
Syracuse new to this Maryland starting lineup. Up at X, Urksa just had the goal moments ago. This Princeton defense tied with Notre Dame, #1 scoring defense in the entire nation through its first 2 games. But this Maryland offense returns 90% of its scoring.
Plus Maliver.
Getting Maliver back, so huge for Maryland. Spano shaded off, a good pass from X. Maliver can't get it though. And a good ground ball from Princeton, here they come. It's the D midi Joseph Jungerkiss. We'll get a clean clear for the Tigers and a touch. And they'll reset at X.
Yeah, 2 big ground balls here early from Princeton short stick D middies. Let's see if the offense can capitalize.
Will be interesting to see how Ajax Zapatello can maybe go against Kabiri and Burns today, because he's been going against the best player from each team so far. Shut down Evan James of Loyola to no points after he had 9 in Loyola's season opener. Here's a chance here, and that's taken away by McNaney.
McNaney so comfortable with the ball in his stick. And again, started the season a little bit slow against Richmond, saw some shots, and now he's back to the Logan McNaney that the world of college lacrosse knows and fears.
McNaney did not play in Maryland's 11-5 win over Princeton last season. He tore his ACL against Loyola in the second game, and that Princeton game was the first career start for Brian Ruppel, who ended up having a pretty incredible freshman season as the netminder for Maryland.
Yeah, that's right, Ben. This is a position that's in good hands at Maryland after McNaney leaves. Ruppel is not too far of a step down.
McNaney said it was so hard for him to have to stand on the sidelines for the entire spring, but he's been happy to be back.
And so is his defense in front of him. They've been playing really well.
Here's Kelly with it at GLE. Owen Murphy. Everyone getting touches from Maryland on this possession. A step from X. In front, ball loose, and it's collected by Gian Forcaro. Good defensive possession from the Tigers.
And how about that clearance? About as effortless as you can get. Princeton just going right down Broadway, and now they can set things up offensively.
Princeton likes to attack from X very much with its attackmen. How will they do it against this Maryland defense? Has been so good to start this season. Here's Mackesy. And a pass inside, ball on the ground, scooped up by Burles.
And how about the Poles, Burles and McDonald getting in there and making what would have been an excellent find into a turnover right there in front of the net.
Maryland very good on the clear this season, 89%, and they'll have another successful one here.
And Logan McNaney coming out of his goal to help in that clear, that really is important, Ben. That makes it a lot easier. That gives you an extra guy that you can use. He's so comfortable with the ball and an excellent passer as well, as you could see him there get it over to Nick Redd, who's been excellent this year for Maryland.
Redd, one of those stout, short stick defensive midfielders. Maryland, a lot of pride in that group. Urksa thought about it, he'll give it off. Spanos at the GLE, he shaded off, spinning back at the crease, and he finds it in. How about that from Eric Spanos, a question mark dodge. It's 2-0 Maryland.
Eric Spanos has been so good this season for Maryland. This is yet another option on the offensive end. It just seems like an embarrassment of riches. How about that? To stay focused, beat the shorty. He likes that matchup, Ben. He finds some room to the goal. That's a great turn and a nice find there into the top of the goal. The bench loves it. 2-0, good start for Maryland.
Spanos scored the go-ahead goal against Syracuse with 3:55 to go in the game before Syracuse tied it with just over a minute to go.
And again, Ben, as you said, it's yet another returning option for the offense. They have a lot of chemistry. They know how to work together. And that's not something that's easy to defend, is it?
Yeah, a lot of these Maryland guys are new to the starting lineup, but got great runs in the second line middies last year.
Look at a guy like Syracuse, who started the last time that we were here. He starts again today. This is a guy who has played a lot for Maryland off of the bench, and now he steps up into a more pronounced role, and he's done really well with it.
Maryland's still looking to find that matchup. They have it here with Brennan. They'll keep him out of the top side. Another short stick matchup here. Maryland keeping it spinning. Urksa, jumping shot, Gian Forcaro. That's too easy for the team captain.
Yeah, Gian Forcaro, as you said, making it look easy. He's so calm, so confident in net, and that's why this is a Princeton team who, on paper, has the best defense so far in this young season, giving up just 5 and 6 goals in their 2 games. Maryland already with 2, though. They need a response.
The freshman Kabiri had that shot blocked. Ball loose in Canfield, the Vermont transfer. We'll get it to McNaney.
How about that catch by McNaney there in the end zone? What an athlete there in net.
Slow break for Maryland. And Stamos, who had the game-winning goal, still on the field. He'll come off now.
Yeah, how about Stamos, who's got more than 1 goal to his name already this year. Maryland's top offensive threat of the short stick D middies, Ben. He was listed as a defender. I guess Coach Tillman liked what he saw offensively and moved him up.
Princeton has done a good job not allowing anything easy so far for Maryland. Here's Spanos from X again. Another shot at another goal for Eric Spanos.
I think that's his spot, Ben. The left side of the goal. It's the second time that he has struck from there. And Maryland is making it look easy right now, 3-0. Is that another shorty matchup? I think it was. And if you give Spanos a chance against a shorty on this left side, he's going to take advantage. He's going to look for goal. A very aggressive offensive player. He puts it low this time.
And that's not going to help Princeton's cause anymore. You cannot give up these violations. Maryland essentially playing make it, take it, up 3 goals.
And again, you don't want to get Luke Weirman into a rhythm if you're the Tigers. That's a guy who, once he gets going, he gets to a point where he's almost impossible to beat.
Here's a step down, and a long shot came from Whittier. That one wide, but the chase for Maryland.
And that was Weirman staying up there, Ben. I guess they liked what they saw numbers-wise. Couldn't get him back to get Murphy in, and now he's up.
So resetting at the top with Whittier, the redshirt sophomore. Daniel Kelly, the leading scorer last year, has had a quiet start to the season. A breakout might be due, but here's Urksa trying to find Maltz. That one's still on the ground. And it's loose again, Pace Billings. We'll take it the other way for the Tigers. Down 3 goals, needing something offensively. And McNaney getting out of the crease to stop that. The ball's still loose. And they're going to say Burns stepped in the crease. How about the goalkeeper, Logan McNaney, denying the pass.
He's basically just a seventh defender, right, Ben? I mean, if you step in the passing lanes like that, you already said it, and we've seen it. Princeton loves to build from X. McNaney did his homework, makes a heck of a play out of the cage. And again, everything that he does besides just simply stopping shots is what really sets him apart, I think, Ben, from the other goalies in the country. He's such an active member of the defensive effort, and he creates so many big plays for his team.
Yeah, he won the most valuable player in the Final Four weekend when Maryland won that championship in 2022. "30 seconds on the shot clock. Maryland playing a little bit slower, up by 3.
Yeah, no need to rush. Just wait and get the best shot that you can. Still a lot of lacrosse left.
Cora's had the matchup. He'll give it up to Spanos instead. Oh, tried to find Molliver on the crease. That one just gets away. Nice look from Spanos.
Yeah, Spanos had a pull that time. I don't think he was as confident going for goal. Had a good thought there with Molliver just in front of the net, but couldn't find him.
Tyler, I talked to Tillman earlier this week about this young Princeton group, and the first 2 games they've played Monmouth and Manhattan, so not in the upper echelon of opponents yet, but Tillman said to score 30 goals through 2 games is no easy task, and this offensive team, they got to be taken seriously by this Maryland defense because of what they've done so far.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a Princeton team who's given Maryland fits over the last 2 seasons, Ben. This is a team that commands a lot of respect from Coach Tillman.
At X is Kabiri. Kabiri sneaks it through McNaney's legs. Happy homecoming to Nate Kabiri, the Georgetown Prep Hoya, back in Maryland and scoring.
And up here from the top of Tyson Tower, I didn't even see him shoot. I just saw him running. You can see just that real quick motion. He's got the shorty red. That's one of the quickest releases you'll see. Nate Kabiri, he's just a freshman, but he is already 10 points to his name and a problem that Maryland's going to need to worry about for the rest of this game. My goodness, what a play.
He was scoring goals just 11 miles from this stadium at Georgetown Prep along with his teammate Colin Burns, and those two have led the Tigers.
And again, that's not even bad defense, going back to that goal by Red. By the time that he started to shoot, I don't even think Red realized.
Nobody saw it.
Yeah. You just saw McNaney picking that ball out of the back of the net. That's big for Princeton. Boy, do they need a goal like that to stop the Maryland run.
Molliver waiting for someone to get open in front.
Good defense here by Princeton to make that hard.
Molliver takes it himself. Did that one go in? They'll
They're
say no, he fell into the goal mouth. Good call by the officials.
How fitting for Maryland to have a goal taken off the board on a goal mouth call after what happened last week. It's how they won the game. It's probably the most talked about rule in college lacrosse.
Right now, for sure, just recently, that game, all eyes on that game between 5 and 4, an instant classic in the JMA Wireless Dome.
Absolutely.
The shot came from the wing. And a good possession shot. Princeton will get one here with 1:07 to go, first quarter. At the pick from X. Another shot turned away by McNaney.
That's Will Schaller getting over, making a nice play, scooping up the ground ball.
McNaney up to 3 saves in this first quarter. He had a career high 18 against Princeton in the Final Four 2 years ago.
And you got to believe that that's fresh on both his mind and Princeton's mind. McNaney wanting to repeat it. Princeton wanting to take that away from him.
Both Maryland and Princeton falling in the first round of the NCAA tournament last year. Princeton lost in overtime in an instant classic with Penn State. Maryland lost on its home turf to Army, also in overtime. Long shot, John Forcaro got the stick down on it. And Billings collects the GB. And that's the end of this first quarter.
Yeah, seen a lot of good from both teams. These truly are two of the finer teams in the country, and to meet so early in the season, it's the type of game that'll really tell us a lot about both.
This Princeton team, a young one, but hanging in there through this first quarter. 3-1, the Terps are on top after 2 from Eric Spanos. We'll see what we got coming up next between two historic programs in quarter number 2. You're watching live here on Big Ten Plus.
They haven't played a team like Maryland yet, have they, Ben?
They sure have not. This is really the true first test for Matt Madelon's team.
And people don't really know how good this Princeton team's going to be. With so many young players, this could be a big statement.
So Maryland's going to win its 5th face-off.
That's Braden Urksa.
And Urksa gets the ground ball. Restart. Chorus had a point-blank look and just sailed it.
And that's about as good of a look as you could ever ask for. Right in front of the goal, nobody on you. I think that Chorus may have overthought that a bit. And again, Weirman stuck down there on the offensive end. Now you're going to see him run back. Maryland hasn't really been in a rush, Ben, to get him subbed out.
He's a guy that scored in his career. He can certainly do so.
He can.
Oh, and a nice pass for Urksa, but he could not handle it from Chorus. But Syracuse gets the ground ball. Another chance for Maryland.
If not for Urksa there, that's Princeton ball. He kept the ground ball alive, and Syracuse saw it, made a nice read.
And a good shot turned away by John Forcaro. Ball is loose. People tumbling all over the place. What's the call here? It's going to be Maryland. And John Forcaro is going to have to hustle back.
And I do like that effort, though, from the goalie to get over there and work that hard to get a ground ball. That's something the defense likes to see. And the bench as well. Great effort, always rewarded in a sport like this.
Spanos already with 2. A nice pass, Molliver. That's too easy.
That's the second time that Spanos has set up Molliver in this game. The first time Molliver can get a clean look off, and he finds the back of the net. How about this pass? Again, you see that matchup, Spanos and a shorty. And what a pass that is. And Molliver back on this team after the injury last season, and they're very happy to have him back.
He's 5th on the team in points in that 2022 championship team.
That undefeated championship team.
Discourse about that team is maybe one of the best college lacrosse teams of all time. This is a different Maryland team now, but still playing to that standard John Tillman has brought here.
And a flag has been thrown, Ben, so it looks like Maryland may go man up.
They certainly will, so Maryland can take its time, especially on this possession. You can go and 1 here, depending on the penalty.
And in a game like this against number 11, how big would that be? Don't even need to worry about winning another face-off.
Maryland historically in this matchup has been dominant through the first 3 quarters of the game. And Murphy, a long bouncer, collected, but that will bring along the penalty.
And I think that that was a little bit too quick of a trigger there for Maryland. Maybe you could have held it a little bit more, taken a better shot. Now, having said that, we've seen Murphy hit that shot a good amount of times. And also, you can't really go wrong when you've got a man-up chance coming up, Ben, because you get the ball back no matter what.
It was Cooper Miller, the freshman and defensive midfielder in the box for Princeton.
Let's take a look if we can get a shot of it. That's Miller coming in. That's a great shot from our crew, and I don't see any issue with that call.
Maryland 4 of 10 on man-up opportunities this season. And Molliver, 2 times. Didn't take long, did it? Maryland up 5-1.
How about 8 seconds spent? into that power play, and that's why you can't foul this Maryland team. They're already dangerous, but you give them an extra man, and that's where they can really hurt you. No look pass there from Chorus. 2 goals for Moliver in quick succession, and how about number 22 there with the helper? What a play from X.
The 4th of the season for the attackman. And here goes Wehrman right down the highway. Another shot was deflected. And a pass on the doorstep. He got pushed in the crease. Penalty flag is down, and that's Daniel Maltz. And the Terps are starting to pour it on early in this second quarter, 6-1.
Yeah, Danny Maltz, he's a step closer to 100. Let's go to awareness there on that goal, but I really think that this whole play starts with that pass right there by Alviti, number 77, the pull. And look at Moliver picking up another point. That's 3 points in under a minute and a half, and it looks like Princeton's going to call a timeout.
Oh, my goodness, and the bench absolutely fired up for Eric Moliver to get him back. 6-1. Maryland is starting to find its groove here in the second quarter. We'll be back on Big Ten Plus.
And a lot of them coming in the last minute and a half, Ben. I mean, this has been the Eric Moliver show here in quarter number 2.
And let's think about this. Moliver, his first couple games back, still getting a feel for being back on this turf after missing the entire season. If they could get him back to the full form he was at in 2022, this Maryland offense, they might look like a juggernaut out there.
They already look like a juggernaut. This is a team in Princeton who hasn't given up more than 6 goals in a game this season. They've given up 6 goals, and we've still got 12:37 left to go in the first half, Ben.
Already 4 different goal scorers today. 2 coming from Spanos, 2 from Moliver, and Urksa and Maltz each have 1. And another violation. And they're going to get an illegal screen there on Wehrman. So it's 6-1. Maryland on top. Princeton has got to figure something out. This team, so young, how can they handle the adversity of being down big here in the first half?
Well, Ben, that's a good start. I mean, they've struggled from the X all game long. Luke Wehrman has dominated, but Luke Wehrman giving them a gift here in a possession. You can't waste it. I mean, we haven't seen Princeton have the ball in the offensive end in feels like quite some time, Ben. Maybe the Maryland defense, could that negatively affect them as well? I think there's a flag down.
Kabiri on the wing. He's got Schaller on him.
So this is now huge for Princeton because you could go and 1 if you find the back of the net here.
Burns coming around, and Kabiri gets it again. He's got the lone goal for Princeton today. He'll pass it off. Here's Barnes. Behind the cage, trying to find through the middle. Kabiri, long shot, finds the nylon. Nate Kabiri, a one-man show for the Tigers so far. That's a really big goal to get here with 11:18 left in the first half.
And they're going to have another chance to come up on the power play. As you can see, McNaney putting his head down. That's a pull on Kabiri. Remember last time he took advantage of the shorty. That's a freshman ripping from way out. That's a heck of a play.
He won the Markland Kelly Award for Best High School Player in all of Maryland last spring. And here he is on the turf at Maryland. Really dominant. And another face-off win for Wehrman. That's 9. Nothing going right at the face-off X for Princeton.
And again, as I said, that face-off was going to be so key. As you just picked up the goal, could have looked for another one. Instead, now you got to reset on defense again.
And a long shot Went wide of the cage. That one came from Elijah Strober.
Yeah, let's see what some of these second-line middies can do here, Ben.
Molliver's already got 4 points. Spanos has a step towards the cage. Make it 3. A first-half hat trick for Eric Spanos. And the Terps keep them coming.
Had 3 goals in 3 games coming in. Throw your hats. That's his 3rd of this one. And again, beating his man, cutting to the middle, taking a big shot after. That's a heck of a shot.
And how about the footwork from Spanos to avoid that goal mouth? Said that so many times today. Can't fall into it on the goal. And Michael Leo of Syracuse will tell you that firsthand. A huge swing. Maryland could have been 2-1 coming into this game. And here they are 3-0. And a step again. Gian Forcaro turns it away. Spanos with his first hat trick of the entire season. The redshirt sophomore was great on the second line last year, and he's proven to be a bona fide starting piece on this team. Had 4 hat tricks last year.
And again, he's such a good player. We just haven't seen him get on a roll in a game, and you felt like that was coming, Ben. 3 goals in 3 games start out the year. That's consistent, but he hasn't really been pouring them in, and now he's up to 6 goals on the year in a hurry.
And a long shot from Palumbo. Got a step on Zappatello. That's pretty tough to do.
I think that was actually Mackesy, and I think that rung the post. Awfully close.
Well, here's Burns, the freshman, tries to get one from no angle.
And that's what good defense does. Creates really, really tough shots, and only tough shots. That's your only option if you're Princeton. They need a 3rd goal bad.
Tried to get it from Barnes, but McNaney guarding that near post like a stone wall.
And Ben, it feels like every shot is a tough shot when you got number 30 in net.
McNaney in that first half against Syracuse, they had no answer for him. Any shot that comes from long range is too easy for someone of his caliber.
That's right, Ben, and the defense knows that. And that's why Rupel, it was so impressive what he was able to do last year, because the defense is conditioned to give the goalie a certain type of shot. McNaney's guys know what he likes, and they've done a great job of reducing shots to just those.
Safe to say Rupel learned a lot from just seeing how McNaney played. Here's Whittier, a long shot. That's too much for Gian Forcaro. And maybe a chance at a break here for Princeton.
Princeton might have numbers as Whittier went down. Great job by Maryland, though, to get enough guys back.
So Kabiri will set it up from the wing. Princeton through the first 2 games, very good when attacking from X. Pass on the doorstep, gets away. Schaller picks it up, and here they go on the break.
Maryland a little bit lucky there as Red was a bit late to get to his man. They'll take that, though.
Colin Sharkey, who had the assist to George Stamos' game-winning goal in overtime. The Vermont transfer has been very solid on that defensive midline.
Yeah, that's 2 new players for Maryland.
And another step for Urksa, but it finds the foot of Gian Forcaro.
That's great focus there from the goalie. Wonder if he has a background playing some soccer as he gets the foot behind that one.
And he lost it for a second. What a fake. Got Urksa up in the air, but then he throws it away. And he'll have to hustle back.
And again, I really like his confidence coming out. We've seen him come out. Nice fake, but you got to make the pass afterwards. I think that's a smart timeout from Coach Tillman. Up by 5 and seeing a real opportunity to strike on this possession.
John Tillman calls timeout. Maryland putting no break on here against Princeton. 7-2 here on Big Ten Plus. Let's get our first look here at Maryland head coach John Tillman in his 14th season, and he's earned the respect as one of the greatest coaches this sport has ever seen.
Yeah, and 5-0 against Princeton. That's Not easy to do. Princeton, one of the best teams out of the Ivy, one of the best conferences in the country, as they are trying to get back to their long stretch of dominance at the turn of the millennium.
Princeton won the Ivy League last year, and here's head coach Matt Madelon in his 7th season. Took over as the interim in 2016, finished that season, and 2017 was promoted full-time, and he's brought Princeton back to its prominent, dominant ways.
Yeah, and again, all those national championships for Princeton, a lot of them came in a small stretch back 90s, 2000s, and he's been tasked with getting them back to that level. Made a Final Four 2 years ago. He's done a heck of a job with this team.
That Final Four matchup with Maryland, you have to wonder how personal a game like this is for him, considering he's never beat Maryland as a head coach either.
It's two really proud programs, and got to be a heck of a coach to be at either one. And with the expectations that they have to get back to the top, he's done a good job.
On the ground, Sharkey flips it over his head for McDonald.
McDonald's stuck offensive, and he knows what to do up there, Ben. This is a guy who loves to shoot the ball. He seems comfortable up there. Not the worst long pole to get stranded. They will finally get him back, and Chorus is going to come in.
Maryland has scored 4 of the last 5. Another chance here, Chorus. Up top, Maltz couldn't handle it. Ball on the ground, and it's picked up by the Tigers. Here they come.
I think that Maltz was starting to think about the shot before the ball got to him there, Ben. He was starting to wind it up.
Princeton trailing 7-2 here at SECU Stadium, and they have a lot of history on this field. Won 3 national championships on this very field. One of them against Maryland back in 1997. Maryland the other way, Stamos. A nice pass, the long shot finds the nylon. Danny Maltz with his second of the afternoon, 8-2 Terps.
And with that goal, you can start to see what he was thinking on that last possession. Loves to catch it low and shoot it high. What a rip from Danny Maltz, and that's why he's so close to 100. You can see that release. He's a confident shooter and always a threat with the ball. Bench is loving it. And the Terps are loving it, up by 6.
And Maltz has had a storybook career here at Maryland. As a sophomore, had 50 points in 2021. That team fell in the national championship. The next year when they won, Maltz was reduced to the second line. He came back to that starting role last year and was fantastic, and he's really proven this year that he belongs in this Maryland starting lineup. He's one of the best offensive players in the country.
How about that fake there by Brennan? Getting the ball over to Murphy.
Here's Kelly. He's been quiet.
Yeah, he had a loud last season. Trying to get back to that form, Ben.
.30 seconds on the shot clock. Brennan trying to find a step, didn't have it. But it comes back up top. Another long shot off the crossbar.
Good read there by Urksa to get back to it. I think they're going to say that touch the goalie is, well, there's more time.
And the post again from Maltz. In about a 10-second span, Maltz hits the woodwork twice.
What a job there by Canfield to keep that ball in Maryland's hands at the midfield line.
It's been a dominant first half for Maryland. Still another possession. Brennan finds a little space. Good save by Gianforcaro.
And again, that resets the shot clock. This is a marathon possession for Maryland.
And this is where it gets really tiring on the defense for Princeton. They'll have to dig deep to prevent Maryland from putting a 9th in.
This is such a long possession that Maryland just subbed middies midway through it. Don't see that too often.
Syracuse finding that step and finding the goal.
Refs are going to talk about it.
Let's see. He fell into the crease. Was he pushed in?
Princeton begging for a call. Here it comes. It stands.
Ryan Syracuse makes it 9-2 Maryland. Another look at that save.
Yeah, they had to work for it. Gian Ficaro doing whatever he could in goal. And this is going to be looked at, I think. Where does he fall? Refs reviewing it. Remember, that's new in college lacrosse. And it's all about where does 38 land. Good shot. And I don't see much pushing. So I think it's really going to come down to, did he make it through or not? What'd you see there, Ben?
And it looks like he doesn't fall into the goal mouth, which is, of course,
that inner circle,
part of the crease there. We get another look at it.
So you can fall into the crease, which is that wider purple circle. What you can't do is fall into that smaller one on the inside. Let's see. He releases it, comes down. It's awfully close.
Syracuse's foot may have touched the line before he even leapt here. And if that's indeed the case,
maybe they're looking at that.
That would just be a standard crease violation and no goal. Can't tell from that angle, but
it's
it looks
awfully close.
Looks like the toe is touching some blue.
I think that you're right. I think that's what they're looking at because it looks like he avoids the goal mouth on that shot. I think that confirms that. So these refs are going to be taking a look and seeing for a possible crease violation, and I think that that foot was on the line.
And the officials will wave off the goal.
And it's exactly what you said. The foot was on the line. Big break for Princeton.
Great work from the officials and our crew for all those looks as well. We got a clear look of that foot on the crease. That's a goal never.
Great job from our crew. And that's a great example of that review rule, Ben. New for the season. Princeton takes advantage and they benefit to keep this 8-2. And let's see if they can get some momentum from a call like that.
They got just under 3.5 minutes in this first half. And when you trail Maryland, a team with so much offensive power and how good they are defensively as well, a 6-goal deficit feels like 12.
Yeah.
So something's got to give here soon, especially before the end of this half.
Yeah, you don't want to go into the locker room down by 6. That's for sure. But Princeton's got the offense that you can't count them out, especially with this guy, Kabiri.
Kabiri, good defense by Stamos. Another shorty matchup. And how about these D-mids, keeping everyone out of the top side. Kabiri from the wing. McNaney just pops it to himself.
That was Eric Kohler, number 8, who had some fantastic on-ball defense there for Maryland. I know you love it out of the short stick D-middies, this Maryland group. They got big shoes to fill, Ben. You lose a guy like Dante Trader, who became, I would say, the first celebrity at that position. Obviously, the football player as well. Doesn't rejoin the team this year, but I'd say him coming and doing even 1 year was impressive enough to be a football player and lacrosse player. That's no small feat.
He turned the lacrosse world upside down by making plays where he was knocking people over and running just right down the field and scoring, using all his speed and strength that he does on the football field, and he brought it to the lacrosse field
and again,
for a stellar year.
It was so good for the position, right? I mean, it shined some light on some of the grittiest guys in sports.
And here's a DM on Murphy right here. Murphy gets him to bite. In the middle, Syracuse just high.
Good job by Molliver there to cover behind the goal. And I think that Syracuse has so much more confidence with his starting spot. And that was Maltz again trying to catch it low to give himself a better chance to shoot quick.
I'm going to say it was deflected off of Princeton.
But still.
An official is going to call timeout to make sure the shot clock is where it needs to be at.
Yeah, the shot clock got all the way up to 80. Can't hear from up here what the change is going to be. We'll see it up on the screen in a second.
7 seconds. So the shot clock was not supposed to reset there. It did, and that's why they called time. So 7 seconds. What does Maryland do here?
I think Maryland might just dump this.
And just shoot it away from Maltz. So a minute 18 to go in the first half. And the Terps up by 6, trying to get one more defensive stand.
Yeah, with 1:18 left to go in this first half, this becomes one of the bigger possessions so far in this game, Ben.
And this Maryland defense has been so good at shutting down the team's top players. Evan James of Loyola was held without a point. Joey Spallina, the ACC Player of the Year last year, just 1 goal last week. And today, Colin Burns, nothing so far.
Yeah, Joey Spallina had one of the best starts I've seen in some time this year. We were on the call last year for his behind-the-back goal, and wasn't any such headlines this time around for him.
Kabiri wants this matchup. He's got Red, the DM, on him. Kabiri's already got 2 in the game.
It's a tough matchup for Maryland and Red.
The pass comes out for Cameron and then swings over. And another D mid. Sharkey putting the straps on him. Now number 1 in white on ball.
What a matchup, Mackesy and Zappatello.
And how about that? Somehow, Sean Cameron, with little to no angle in almost no time on the clock, 1/10 of a second. That's unbelievable.
Wow. You can see here, Zappatello did a good job to try to force Mackesy as far away from the goal as possible. And that is exactly what Princeton needed before the break.
So Sean Cameron's first goal of the entire season here.
Shea Keithler's going to get a rep out there at the X. And he won it.
8-3. So possibly a little momentum going Princeton's way after the goal from the junior midfielder. But how about the domination from the Terps in that first half?
And the Terps, they need to have the memory of a goldfish after that last goal. They got to go into the locker room and start to think about all the good that happened before it.
We'll be back for the second half here on Big Ten Plus. Some adversity. Having to play at number 4 Maryland is always going to be a tough challenge. Now how do you do it down by 5 going into the second half?
Yeah, Ben, it certainly doesn't make things easier, and especially Luke Weirman at the X doesn't make anything easy. Boy, did Maryland need that out of the break after giving up a goal with .1 left.
13 face-off wins for Maryland, just 1 for Princeton. That tells you the story.
Yeah, you're not going to get many chances to get back into the game if you can't win a face-off.
Jungerkiss knocked it loose, caused turnover for the DM, and he has it right here.
And again, Princeton gave up just 11 goals in 2 games coming into this one. Their defenses looked really strong at times, but when there's so many possessions for Maryland, obviously they're going to start breaking through.
Maryland outshot Princeton 24-13 in that first half. And even more of note, Colin Burns and Coulter Mackesy, both without a goal. See if they can change that here. Mackesy has it at X. The switch comes, but Zappatello is right there. You don't want the ball when 1 on white is trailing you. Palumbo trying to find anything. Great defense from Red.
And again, we get that Mackesy versus Zappitello matchup. What a fun one.
Mackesy with a step, and he scores. Well, we just talked about Coulter Mackesy without a goal in the first half, but a loud start to the second half. They cut this lead in half. It's 8-4.
This is why the matchup is so much fun. This is not bad defense. This is just a great offensive player. Mackesy, the one guy, it seems, with a lot of experience on the offensive end for Princeton. He's so tough to contain, Ben. And he lets it rip from distance because that's what you have to do against this Maryland defense, and he makes no mistake.
Clean exit from Weirman, and they'll reset from the wing with Malver. Weirman with yet another face-off win.
Yeah, it's so hard for Princeton to build momentum. They just can't get a face-off win. Maryland's now won 14 of 15.
Oliver behind the goal, trying to find someone. Maryland would run this exact set so many times with Kyle Long last season, and he was great at passing for Max. Oliver has stepped into that role and coming back into that role really in a phenomenal way. Everyone in black just trying to keep someone from white getting open. 30 on the shot clock. Molliver makes his move, and they'll reset again. Whittier has that short stick on him. This is the matchup they want, but the ball's loose. Shot clock down to 10. Urksa dumps it off to Brennan. Can't handle it. Ground ball picked up by Princeton. How about that possession?
Yeah, that's textbook defense there from the Tigers. The bench is fired up. It's 8-4. Again, I said don't let Princeton get the first 2 or 3 of the half. They're on their way to doing just that. I think it's a whole new ball game if Princeton can find the net here, Ben.
This Princeton offense lost its top 4 midfielders to graduation. A completely new look offensively. In the first 2 games, they scored 30 goals. Here against one of the best defenses in the country in Maryland.
It's that shorty matchup.
And the bouncer goes wide. That was Quinn Kramer. Chase was given by Burns. Stamos on Palumbo. Canfield trying to stay on Burns. That one's wide.
10 seconds, though, Ben. Princeton's got to hurry. Let's see what they draw up.
10 seconds on the shot clock.
You can't dump it. You got to attack. Mackesy Zappitello again. He gets the switch. It's a shorty.
Now Ajax back on him. Mackesy trying to find Burns. The stick's loose. Ball's on the ground. Maryland has possession.
An emphatic stop there by Maryland. That was Colin Burley's knocking the stick down, a yard sale, Ben, on the offensive end.
Pair that with Zappitello, the second straight player on the defensive side to wear number 1 for this Maryland team. Truly a special honor. Brett Makar did it last year, and he was nothing short of phenomenal. Now playing in the PLL, of course. But how about Zappitello? We talked to Tillman in the offseason on why they go to Ajax. He said all the conversations came back to him, a headstrong guy who just plays the game the right way for Maryland.
And he's a great leader as well, so resilient. This guy who never gives up.
Chorus trying to find something. A pass on the doorstep. How about that from Gian Forcaro? That's denying Molliver.
That's brilliant from Gian Forcaro because, Ben, you could see him kind of take a step out of the goal. He was looking to defend the pass to X. Got back just in time to make a nice save.
Second team All Ivy Leaguer last season. And keep in mind, he was splitting reps last year with Princeton's starting goalkeeper. He mostly played the second half of games. This year, he's the guy.
And it's so much easier to get into a rhythm when you know you're going to be out there for the whole game. You don't need to worry about splitting any reps. It's his position now, and he's taken it and run with it.
Chad Palumbo, the Massachusetts native, with it. Sharkey on him. Here comes the slide. He gets a step on Ajax, yard sale. And the ball's picked up by Maryland. Number 1 in white is dominating.
Back-to-back possessions with sticks on the ground. Maryland's bench is loving it.
Maryland can slow things down, still up 8-4. Brennan fakes the shot. He'll get it at X.
McDonald was stuck up there for a while. They finally get him out and get Kelly in. Sharkey, you can see him setting the pick. Now he's going to come off.
Here's Molliver behind the goal like all game long. Gives it back to Kelly. He's denied by Gian Forcaro. And he'll chase it out of bounds. So a save and some hustle from the senior goalkeeper.
And we've seen him hustling everywhere all game. Sometimes it's come back to bite him, but that's a heck of a play. Kelly is still looking to get going on the season. We've seen his skill, we've seen his talent, we've seen him put up the big stats. Just hasn't come to fruition here in his senior year.
Princeton on the offensive side, trying to find something. They'll get it to Dunphy. Had a hat trick in the last game against Manhattan. Step through the middle. The bouncer is turned away by McNaney.
And again, Princeton so aggressive. They realize they're not going to get cleanest of looks. If you have a shorty on you, you take the shot. That seems to be the plan for the Tigers.
Mackesy on Zappatello. What more could you ask for? Dunphy can't get a step. Somehow open in front of the goal. McNaney turns it away. Ball's down on the ground. Bodies are everywhere. And the officials will meet and reward possession to the Tigers.
Not sure what happened there.
Maybe a push in the back into the crease.
Chaos in the crease. But Maryland's really lucky to give up that look and not walk away with a goal.
That was the 11th shot on goal for Princeton. McNaney's turned away 7 of them. Zappatello got a piece of that, but Mackesy able to get the GB.
Yeah, I think it was Wade there who had as good of a look as you can ever ask for in lacrosse. Great save by McNaney.
Kabiri gets the hands free, but McNaney, a stone wall in the cage.
That time, a little less painful for McNaney as the last one seemed to hit off his chest. McNaney always preferring to make the catch instead. He does so, gets the ride out.
When you ask those around this Maryland program what it means to have McNaney as the netminder, they'll tell you it's everything. He sets up the defense to play the way he wants them to. The shot turned away. How about some great goalie play in this game right here?
Absolutely. And last time we were here for that Loyola game, Loyola had some talent in their net as well.
Syracuse had the goal disallowed earlier.
You know he's hungry. Crowd getting into it. We haven't seen a goal in some time. Maryland still scoreless in this quarter.
Urksa finds it in, coming from behind. Urksa with his second. The former Big Ten freshman of the year makes it 9-4.
And they're not scoreless in the third anymore. He takes the pole, gets just enough room, and look at this release here from the sophomore. In one motion, the turn, the shot, burying it in the bottom corner.
Goal number 10 on the season for number 10 in white.
That's a number that's going to rise and rise and rise, Ben.
Luke Weirman, Maryland's all-time face-off winning leader, making it look so easy today. He's won 15.
I really think that he's going to become a coach after he's done playing. He seems to have mastered the art of the face-off. First goal in 15 minutes for Maryland. And that's a testament, Ben, I think, to their defense. To keep them up, still get that cushion there when the offense goes cold, the defense plays their part. And you wonder if that goal from Urksa could be a spark for more.
On the front, the behind the back attempt.
A little bit ambitious there from Murphy.
In that same spot that Joey Spallina did it last season. This one nowhere near close. Urksa again gets a step. Oh, but a great defensive play from Colton Kistler to knock that one down. Oliver was open on the doorstep.
Seen a lot of good things from Colton Kistler in this game.
Four and a half to go in this third quarter.
Flag flies. Two of them.
So Princeton, a chance maybe to go and one here. This would be huge. Pass gets away for a moment, but no worries for Kabiri. And he flings that across for Mackesy. Or make that Barnes.
Sharkey trying to contain him best he can.
They got the matchup at X, though. Sharkey doing his job. They'll give it back behind the cage.
You can see red on the near side. See if they take advantage. Princeton, not much of a rush. They know if they don't score, they'll get the ball back.
Burns, the freshman, tries to find a cutting Mackesy. And finally, we will get this penalty. So crucial chance coming up here for Princeton. They trail by 5.
I think that they're going to call offsides on Nick Red here. So, oh no, excuse me, Danny Maltz. I heard the 7. It's 37, not 47. That's going to serve it.
First man up
There's
opportunity for Princeton.
Now both of them are going into the bin.
Well, 2 flags flew there, so will this be a 2-up opportunity? It will.
I think it's just 1. I think that Maltz is just going to stand over there.
And that's too easy. Braden Saris with his 4th of the season. That makes it 9-5.
And we saw Maryland take advantage of a man-up opportunity as soon as they got it earlier on. We see it yet again. It's Princeton this time. Braden Saris, the junior. It's a nice rip and a nice goal. Boy, did the Tigers need that. And again, when you're struggling at the faceoff circle, Maryland's won 15 of 16 in this game. You need to take advantage of every opportunity. But Princeton, with their second win, Ben.
That's Sandoval. No one had taken a faceoff for Princeton other than Andrew McKeon before today, but obviously Madelon has to go to the adjustment with Weirman's domination, and Sandoval gets it there.
Yeah, you got to switch some things up, Ben. You can't just keep sending out the same guy to lose in the same way. Mackesy's on a shorty.
He'll fling it wide. That'll deflect all the way out of the stadium, it looks like.
That ball's headed for the bob.
In the past 3 matchups between these two teams, Maryland's outscored Princeton 12-4 through the first 3 quarters. So more of the same today. That pass almost takes the head off the ref and out of play.
And again, it seemed like on that one, Princeton forcing the issue, trying to get the matchup on the shorty. They've been so committed to that. Maryland's polls are so good, Ben. Just a little bit too ambitious. on that one. Maryland with the chance to ride it out, or excuse me, clear it out as Kohler gets it over midfield.
Eric Kohler hadn't played too much in the early part of the season. Former Urbana Hawk.
He's played well today, though, and he's played a lot today. Seems like him and Stamos gotten a lot of minutes. With Red and Sharkey making up the quartet.
Urksa falls down and passes it well on the ground. Composure from him gives Maryland another chance here. Urksa on the wing. Rifles that one just wide of that near post.
There's a stick down. I'm not sure whose it is. Everybody seems to have one. Maybe a player ran one out in a hurry.
So no reset on the shot clock. Two-man game with Chorus and Molliver. He's got the short stick on him. Chorus will pass it off. Trying from the other side, Siracusa, and swinging it back for Spanos. Flags come down. It's going to be a delayed penalty against Princeton. And the shot clock winds out. It'll be a man-up opportunity coming for the Terps.
It was Younger Kiss who lost the stick, but let's take a look at the foul that Spanos bonked right on the head there. Doesn't feel good, Ben.
That trail check sometimes, as a defender, you miss the stick completely and you hit the helmet and you got to sit as a result of your sin.
Ben, I can see you're already in mid-season form.
Sure am.
So Maryland, again, they went super fast on their last power play. Let's see how they approach this one.
Urksa, no one picked him up, but that's right in the stick of Gian Forcaro. So Princeton a chance to wilts this penalty away a little bit.
Pretty much an effortless kill, you could say. They did nothing, literally. They didn't pick up the guy. They let him shoot it, and it worked out. Oh, wow, what a move from the goalie.
Gian Forcaro is out. That's Zappatello trying to take it from him.
What in the world? You can see McNaney came out too.
And that's a failure to advance right there on Princeton. Now, could we have ever expected to see Ajax Zappatello
that too
taking a shot at the goalkeeper? Cross that off your bingo list.
And keep in mind, Ben, there's still 29 seconds on the power play. You gotta get the ball over.
Maryland already 1 of 1 on it today. And this one gets away from Murphy. All the way back, a good poke.
I think that was Alviti. Oh no, Will Schaller actually.
Heads up play from the sophomore. On the doorstep, Chorus couldn't get it. And Gian Forcaro will dive out of bounds, and Maryland still with it. People all over the place. It's Kelly, and he scores! What in the world? Daniel Kelly. 10-5, Maryland.
The former Calvert Hall Cardinal, his second of the year. Plenty of space, winds it up and lets it fly. And keep in mind that Gian Forcaro was not in the goal for long. He ran that ball down, great effort. But it's kind of tough to set yourself after doing that. Kelly, this is a guy who has a lot of talent, all the talent in the world. He was so good last year.
Wehrman, clean release. Got a second left. Maltz almost gets it at the buzzer. How quickly that almost came into fruition from Maryland. But it's 10-5 heading to this fourth quarter.
Nobody scored more goals for Maryland last year than Danny Kelly. He gets one. Maryland hopes that it's more coming. Princeton needs 5 as we will head to the fourth. Well, Penn State after that, they're ranked. Ohio State's ranked. Rutgers is ranked. Hopkins is ranked. It's ranked teams pretty much all the way through for Maryland.
Maryland dominates year in and year out, and they don't have a cake schedule.
No.
Taking down Syracuse on the road last week. This is a very good Princeton team at number 11 in the country. John Tillman's boys are tested in the early parts of the season.
As it stands right now, I think Maryland is only going to have one game on the schedule against an unranked team, and that's Brown. Maryland has lost unranked games here at home these last few years. Brown looking for the upset. That should be a fun one on Plus.
You think to this Maryland schedule through the early part of the season, a win in overtime over Richmond, that still looks pretty good to this day. Richmond has looked really, really good.
They gave Virginia a heck of a game.
Extremely tough. Maryland can use a lot of clock if they want to on these possessions, up by 5. Double comes. The rotation comes through, but here's Molliver. Give it behind the goal with Spanos. Spanos with 20 on the shot clock, tries to find it around, and that ricochets off the defender, and the ground ball is picked up by Gian Forcaro.
That's step one for Princeton, Ben. You knew you probably weren't going to take the face-off with Warren being so dominant, so you had to get a stop from your defense. That's exactly what they've done. The bench loves it. This is a big possession.
It's a big possession in this game, and you think about the difference between these two teams, Tyler. This is week number 4 of the season for Maryland. Princeton is in day 6 of its regular season. They've played 3 games in the past 6 days. And here they are in College Park against the number 4 team in the country.
Their first real test.
Kabiri with it. He's got 2 today. The star freshman. Mackesy gets the hands free. McNaney saving it away from that far post. The graduate student goalkeeper has got 8 saves. Make that 9.
And again, with a guy like that in goal, as a defender, you can just be so much more confident and calm. And you don't need to worry as much when the shots do get off. And I think that allows you to play better. Obviously, when you're more relaxed, it's going to lead to better results.
That's for sure. The defense, more relaxed. They've been fantastic, and they've really been stout against some of the best offensive players in the country the past few weeks.
It's just so hard to find success, Ben, when you know there's no margin for error. And that's what a goalie like McNaney can prevent.
This test for Princeton is huge because it's the first of 3 road games in 8 days for them, all against teams in the top 15. Of course, Maryland is number 4, and then they'll be at number 2 Duke next Sunday as well, and number 15 North Carolina. So it's not going to get any easier for this Princeton team before they get into league play.
No, it's not, and that's why this game's so big for both of these teams. You have games coming up that you need momentum to be in your favor going into it.
And Brennan falling away, shot it right up into the stick of Gian Forcaro.
Good ride from Maryland. That's another turnover in transition, Ben.
Maryland, a lot of pride on the ride, but Princeton will get it back. And we'll have a timeout taken by John Tillman. With 11:24 to go in the ballgame, Maryland in a comfortable position, but Princeton, we know they're going to fight. We'll see how this concludes on Big Ten Plus when we come back. Ten to 5 the score with 11:24 to go in this game here in College Park. And number 1 in white, the coveted number 1, Ajax Zapatello. Another fantastic showing from this Maryland leader.
Yeah, look at that, getting the stick in. I mean, he is just so good. Just when you think that you've beaten him, that's certainly what's going through the head of Crowley as he got through, and out of nowhere, the stick is Zapatello forcing the yard sale.
Zapatello, someone who preps like no other. Kabiri, right off the offensive set. That's his third successful homecoming for the native of McLean, Virginia.
So many headlines have been about Burns in this freshman duo, but you can't forget about Kabiri as he beats Will Schaller. That's a heck of a shot. Putting that one far post, McNaney looking to the heavens.
And heading in that break, mentioned it, we know Princeton will fight, and here's the start of that. Got to find a way to get a win at the face-off X. Just 2 face-off wins for Princeton so far today.
And this is number 20. Make that 18 wins for Weirman.
Right down the runway. Moliver going to wind it up. Turn away. That's a new season high for Luke Weirman. 18 wins at the face-off X.
But a quick offensive possession basically acts like it didn't happen, man.
Princeton will take that every single time. You only lose a couple seconds of the clock there. And all these possessions really matter at this point for the Tigers.
Yeah, you win 90% from the face-off dot, and you're still in a slugfest.
A testament to the fight this Princeton team has as the shot goes wide. But right there to chase it was Palumbo. Kramer. He's got the matchup at X before giving it to Kabiri. Hat trick today for him. And make that 4, but no goal. Referees waving that off right away.
Foot in the crease, I think, is the call again. That evens it out. Now both teams have lost a goal from it. And just as it was a big break earlier for Princeton, Maryland breathing a sigh of relief. And Ben, I think that call puts some pressure on this Maryland offense because the Terps were beaten there. If he's an inch back, that's a goal. And that would be just a 3-point game. Maryland needs the offense to get back together.
See what they come up with on this possession. Syracuse, who had that goal disallowed back in the second quarter.
He's looking for revenge.
He's got a shorty on him. Gets the step, the shot, gets past Gian Forcaro. Ryan Syracuse, he says, you take away mine in the first half, I'll get one, no questions asked here in the fourth quarter.
Let's take a look, though, first at the no goal from the other end. Let's look at the foot of Kabiri here. I believe it was another player who had the foot in the crease.
It was the one setting the screen. And here's Syracuse, has that matchup. We've talked about it all afternoon, and that's one Gian Forcaro wants back. He's been so good today. But a slip in the cracks right there.
What a ground ball.
Loose. Who's got it? Still on the ground. Bodies flying, sticks flying. Who wants it?
This is a spectacle.
And now a whistle will end the madness, and Princeton will get possession.
Boos from the refs and the crowd. How about that catch from Kabiri sliding in?
Little slide on the SECU turf. Sliding catch, a football term you'd hear in this stadium, but how about on the lacrosse pitch as well?
Eric Spanos went to the locker room for a little bit. He's back out and on the bench for Maryland. Terps definitely are missing him.
Maryland so quick on the rotations, but it's no matter for Nate Kabiri. Make that 4 for the freshman.
And Kabiri, he gets the matchup. We've been talking about it all day long. It was Stamos who was defending him. You can see right there, number 54. Here's a better look at it. Stamos trying to close out, but the quick release, no match. Bottom corner, that's excellent from the freshman.
And that came Palumbo up top. Schaller slid, forcing everyone else to rotate. And Kabiri can't get that much space. Right down the runway comes Weirman. He can score it, but John Forcaro will save it. But it gets away, and that's a brutal turnover for Princeton. And the quick restart, Maltz, no one around him. That's too easy. Another hat trick of the day for the Terrapins, this time Daniel Maltz. They're back up by 5.
He scored 98 goals in his college career before that one. I don't think he's had an easier one. And after Princeton gets the big break that they were looking for, as Weirman scoops up the face-off, runs it right down, takes a shot, a bad pass, gives it right back to Maryland, and Danny Maltz makes no mistake.
And that's just so deflating for Matt Madelon's team. To finally get another possession, they're hanging in there, this Tiger team, and the turnover leads to the easiest goal of the day. That can't happen. Weirman wins another, and Maryland wisely will take it out here.
Yeah, that's something that I haven't really seen much from Weirman this year. He used to be such an aggressive Fogo, loved to take shots, but this year he seems to have been more patient. That's the first shot I've seen him take in some time. Works out in the end, I guess.
Behind the cage with Urksa. The star sophomore has the screen before giving it back to Brennan. Brennan burst on the scene in that Big Ten semifinal against Johns Hopkins. Last year, that was a win before they fell to Michigan in the championship game. Urksa with space, but a flag comes down. I think evidently this, let's see what they call here.
I think it's on the Shorty White.
Now that's interesting that it's going to be.
Yeah, Marquez White is going to take a seat there in the sin bin.
Yeah, he's the key returning starter of that short stick D-mid unit for Princeton. They returned 6 of 7 D-mids they have. They take a lot of pride in that position. And
that's the play right there. Good job from the crew. You could see that push from the back, and Maryland's going to have a chance man up.
They've scored twice man up already. On the doorstep, but they'll pass it. Urk's a long one. That one turned away.
Good job by Kors to back that up.
Maryland likes to use Urksa as a decoy at the top to find that front door pass. Kelly going to try a long one. Gian Forcaro saw it the entire way, and here they go on the clear. Right down Broadway. And that's turned away. Would have been a really nice chance there for Princeton.
Still got possession, though, and a very important one.
It's a 5-goal game with 6.5 to go.
And it's rare that you see a team so thoroughly beaten the faceoff dot still be in it.
Kabiri already with 4, gets Canfield to fall, the shot high.
Look out in the crowd. We've been seeing balls take crazy bounces off bleachers, especially in warm-ups. Good to see everybody's all right.
Sean Cameron, who scored earlier, tries one from the short angle.
And he had that shorty matchup with Red. So, Strober, Colin Burns is going to bring this one out. He's been a little bit quiet today. Princeton really needs that to change.
And here's a chance for him right here. Will this one count? The officials meeting.
Burns has his hands up. Will the refs do the same?
No goal. Another disallowed goal for Princeton.
And you can see Burns in the shot still arguing.
And he just touches that goal mouth on the way down. I mean, there's a majestic looking dive and finish from the freshman. All the credit to him for that, but I believe he comes down on that goal mouth. And how many times?
I think the refs are going to take a look at it.
How many times are we going to have controversy with this rule that's very new to the game still?
Well, as soon as he scooped up the ball, I could kind of feel it. And that's why I said, hasn't scored yet today, and he needs to find something to get him going. He takes it with the ball on his own stick, goes right for the goal and tries it. And it's another one that's so close. Burles immediately pointing. He seemed to have the best angle out of anybody, but obviously a little bit biased. So he pointed immediately to the goal mouth. And this is a big call then.
It really is. And you just can't help but think back to that goal in overtime from Michael Leo. Syracuse, the goal disallowed. And a great quote from Tillman. He said he's been on the losing side of that one play, and the game is inches, literally. And that's another case of it right here with Colin Burns.
Yeah, you can see on the left there, double box, the ref's taking a look. And again, you cannot land inside that inner circle. I think on that shot we just got from the crew, if there is a call on the field, it has to be definitive for that call to be changed. And it looked like maybe an elbow or the glove at least landed in that smaller semicircle. What'd you see?
I think he comes down in that goal mouth. So I think this one, just Dan, the contact is the question, of course. And in the Syracuse one, they said there wasn't enough contact to say he was pushed into the goal mouth. So we'll get the call here right now. No goal is the call. So that's one of those instances, probably not enough to overturn anything. It has to be conclusive. And that's a big swing. Maryland with possession, up by 5, 6 minutes to go.
Was that the third disallowed goal for Princeton in this game?
They've gotten the short end of the stick. Maryland now 20 for 20 on clears today. They've had their way with the Princeton ride. And here's where we'll see Maryland really try to take some time. They played slow in the first half. They sped it up a lot here towards the second half, but now a chance to get back to those early game ways. Maryland has 6 different goal scorers today. So much depth on this team.
And that seems to be the case in every Maryland game. Scoring is so spread out. There's so many guys who can hurt you.
First quarter last week, Maryland had 5 different goal scorers in just the first quarter. Spanos gets it back, shot, and another score for Eric Spanos. 4 of them.
How in the world did this get through? You see the deflected pass. That's a pull on him, and he goes near post. Jeff Recaro didn't get the right read on it. That's a nice shot.
John Forcaro has had so much work in that cage. 32 shots on goal from Maryland today. A new career high for Eric Spanos with that 4th goal. And what a star they have in number 7 on white.
And it's the 7th goal of the year for number 7.
Whistles here after the face-off. And that'll give it back to Maryland. So that's even more deflating. Maybe a gut punch right there for Princeton. Princeton came in here 2-0, of course, wins over Monmouth and Manhattan. It hadn't been tested until today, and it fought hard. Really did. Maryland, so much depth, has proven to be too much so far.
Yeah, and Ben, that's a jarring jump to go to from Monmouth and Manhattan to going on the road and playing Maryland. It's a difference, that's for sure.
It'll be a jump for Maryland next week, going to play number 1 Notre Dame.
Yeah, but they've at least had some semblance of that. I mean, they went up to top 5 team at the time in Syracuse and got the win. Notre Dame on another level, but took them to 3 overtimes last year, Ben, and one of the best games we've seen here in some time.
An instant classic in College Park. Maryland, of course, got its get back with the win over UVA, who was number 1 at the time. You were down there for that doing radio, and that was an incredible game, highlighted by Brian Rupel. But now it's Logan McNaney back in the cage for Maryland, and it's really shown how much they missed him. Whittier tried to get that off with 2 seconds on the shot clock. It's saved, but time running extremely low and a 6-goal lead for the Terps.
And for Princeton, you're starting to get to panic mode. You've been in panic mode because of your struggles at the faceoff dot. The question now becomes, is Princeton going to even have enough possessions?
Even if they score, you still got to win that faceoff. And Maryland, or Luke Weirman rather, has won 21 of the 24 today. And add another save to McNaney's name, double digits.
And I think that one is the killer. Maryland on offense can just hold it here. No need to shoot. Wouldn't be surprised if the Terps just hang it and then dump it out, and that clock expires.
Maryland defense tested time and time again. And they've came through. Just as it did against Loyola, held them to 4 goals. And the second home game of the season, Maryland has protected that home field advantage that it so covets. Last season, had some cracks in the wall, lost to Michigan at home, lost to Johns Hopkins at home, and of course, falling in the first round of the NCAA tournament to Army on this field. They want to change that narrative back to what it used to be. And John Tillman will call timeout with 7 seconds on the shot clock. 1:30 to go. Maryland on the verge of 4-0. Final minute and a half coming up here from SECU Stadium. Ben Strober and Tyler Lochte. We want to thank everyone for tuning in with us here today. Been a lot of fun, and it's been real fun for the Maryland Terrapins. Up 13-7 over an Ivy League foe in Princeton. Shot clock is down here, and they're just going to put the ball down in the corner to waste some time away. Saw this in the last home game against Loyola. They'll do it again here.
And the Terps getting some guys reps here on the defensive end. Davidson, Riley Reese getting in there as well. Sneak peek at maybe the next crop of young Terps.
Kabiri already got 4 today. Can't get the hands free. It's taken away, but the ball's still loose. And in the cage for Maryland,
it's Weston Schmidt.
Weston Schmidt getting some reps.
That makes me wonder if Maryland redshirted Rupel.
That's really interesting.
I could totally see them doing that, Ben, because you want Rupel to be around, to have 3 more years.
This is the last season of McNaney, of course. They're going to expect everything they can get out of him.
Right.
So we'll see what comes next. Burns has it knocked away. And how about the defense for Maryland today? Burns, the leader in points and goals for Princeton. Zilch today.
And that was Josh Kaufman. You can see him with the leg brace coming in there, making a big play on the defensive side. The Terps getting in some middies to find some more reps. as they're going to kill this clock off.
Another test for this Maryland team, and another A+. They'll head to 4-0. 13-7 final score. Your final thoughts, Tyler?
Just domination again. And it all starts at the face-off circle for Maryland. Luke Weirman winning 21 of 24, and the Terps, it seems like they always win when they hold their opponents under 10 goals. This is a real statement, and it's a real momentum builder as the Terps are going to head to South Bend in a monster clash coming up.
Another defensive masterclass paired with some great offense all around. 4 from Eric Spanos, 3 from Daniel Malt. He's 1 away from 100. And great goalkeeper play from McNaney as usual. It's Maryland with 13. They get the victory over Princeton and move to 4-0. We want to thank everyone for tuning in with us here on Big Ten Plus. For our producer and director, Matthew Weinsheimer, our broadcast partner, Tyler Lochte, and our entire Big Ten Plus crew, we say so long from SECU Stadium.